Hello, hello. Welcome to the PG-ish podcast. I'm Erin with your parental guidance to help you grow yourself as a parent and raise healthy, happy, and successful humans. Before I share a simple phrase that has the potential to transform all of your relationships, I know, bold statement here, head over to my website, pgishparenting.com, to learn more about us, to catch up on previous episodes, and to become a member of the Weary to Revived course, which is a self-led 5-week class designed to create a blueprint to feel, heal, and redefine joy on your own terms. You'll learn how to rediscover your values, learn how to create boundaries and to make better decisions based on neuroscience, and to create the space to have more fun while being productive and efficient. Sounds good, don't you think? Also, you can check out our sponsors like BetterHelp Online Therapy, Thrive Market for all of your pantry and school lunch needs, and Peak Teas to keep you feeling healthy, well, and caffeinated. I don't love ads, but I do love these companies, and I believe you'll like them too. Again, you can check out more of their company details and deals in the show notes. Okay, I don't know what's in the air, but I have had to jump into a lot of hard conversations lately, which is really not my favorite. I overthink, I procrastinate, and ultimately fear how people will respond because I don't like conflict. So recently, as I struggled with a community dilemma that put me in the middle of a decision I really shouldn't have been in the middle of, I finally sought out advice, and the best thing I got was to be direct and clear with my expectations. I mean, I guess I knew that, but I needed someone else to validate that feeling, which of course is easier said than done because I still have to go talk to people, right? But that's exactly what needed to happen. And it made me think of something that Brene Brown says, which is clear is kind. It's so simple and yet so true. And also, we complicate it. But let me remind you, we can't be leaders in our own homes or in our careers if we can't wrestle with the uncomfortable situations, or if we don't know our values, and ultimately if we can't build trust. And we build trust when we're clearly communicating boundaries and what we stand for, and laying down a foundation for how we will treat people and how we expect them to treat us. But I digress, and I will let Brene Brown dive into more. Here she is.
You know, it was interesting because I used to spend a lot of time when I'd go into these companies kind of evangelizing about vulnerability. It's important. Then one day I found myself on a military base talking to special forces, and I just asked a simple question. Give me an example of courage that you've seen or witnessed in your life, or that, you've done yourself, that didn't require uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure, which is the definition of vulnerability. Give me a single example of courage that did not require that. And there was just silence until one guy just raised his hand and said, 3 chores, ma'am. There is no courage without vulnerability. And so now I just ask audiences that simple question. Give me an example of courage that doesn't require uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure. It's a skill set. I mean, we've been studying it I've been doing this work for 20 years, the last 7 years, really looking at courage and leadership specifically. 4 skill sets. Can you rumble with vulnerability? Can you stay in tough things when they get uncomfortable and awkward, or do you tap out? 2, and this is a hard one, living into your values. Are you clear about what your values are, and have you operationalized those into behaviors? Do you know what behaviors support your values, what don't? 3, braving trust. Can you build trust and be trustworthy? And the last one, which I think was really interesting, was learning how to get back up, learning how to rise. Because we found that people are more willing to be courageous up front if they know how to rise. Courage is incredibly contagious, as is fear, as we can see in the world, as is scarcity. And so courage is contagious, and we can teach it, we can learn it, we can measure it. And we have to create cultures where being armored all the time. Vulnerability is not disclosure. So that's the big mythology, right? It's not like, I know a lot of leaders who show up and just everything. That has nothing to do with courage or vulnerability. Vulnerability is, can you manage uncertainty and risk and emotional exposure? Can you stay in the hard conversation? Can you tell the truth? Can you give feedback when it's hard? Can you ask for feedback when it's hard? Vulnerability is, I believe, and it's probably 60% of the book, the only path to courage. And it is the birthplace of innovation, creativity, trust, empathy, I love it when people call and say, hey, can you come talk to our company, Brene? We'd love to have you speak. Just don't mention like vulnerability. Clear is kind, unclear is unkind. Stop avoiding the tough conversations.
Honestly, this was such a good reminder that I need to reread some of Brene's books, like Dare to Lead. She's just so good and so brutally honest and gets to the point so quickly, clear in her communication. If you like Brene Brown, go check out episode 153, where she dives deeper into how vulnerability is the magic sauce to everything. As usual, you can find links to the full talk, Brene's website, and her book, Dare to Lead, along with links to our sponsors, BetterHelp, Thrive Market, and Peak Teas in the show notes. All right, friend, if you find PGish helpful, interesting, or encouraging, please share this episode with your bestie, follow PGish on your favorite podcast platform, and share on social so that more parents can learn and grow alongside their kiddo like you. See you next time.